Brother,
Brother.
that feeling.
Oh.
Did you ride the bus to school when you were a kid?
Yeah, until I got my car when I was 16.
The feeling of early in the morning, it's cloudy outside, maybe a light rain drizzling down. You've got your raincoat on.
Yeah.
You go out to the bus stop. You got to wait out in the freezing cold, but eventually it rolls up.
I had to walk 3 blocks, but yeah.
Oh, it was a cold 5-minute walk to my bus stop.
Yeah.
You finally climb on the bus. The heaters never work on the bus.
No, bus 17 was always broken. I would call that shit out.
But that, one of the most blessed feelings that I will never maybe get to experience again someday, but it'll never like feel the same, of putting like your forehead up against a cold window pane on a school bus and just like slapping in some earbuds, listening to the tunes that you loaded onto your 128 megabyte iPod Shuffle. It was before they had screens. It just had a play button and the next buttons and the volume, and that was it.
Look who got lucky and found an iPod Shuffle at his school, because I used to carry around a big CD player, and I would wear...
Oh, I did that back in the day.
I'd wear Mama Dice's big leather jacket in the winter, or I'd wear...
Oh, that visual is cute.
My hoodies. Like, my hoodies were huge. I was one of the kids who always wore way oversized clothing, so you couldn't tell what I was packing underneath. So I used to be chubby, and then I got in shape.
I was going to say, when he says packing, he ain't talking about guns. He didn't take no guns in school.
No, we settled our shit with fists. You live to fight another day. But I used to just carry, like, in one side pocket CDs, and I had the annoying headphones, not a headset. I didn't get into, like, skull candies until later.
What do you mean the annoying headphones?
The ones that go over your head. Like, obviously these
like,
are big headsets, but, like, the tiny ones that never work, you found at the gas station for $5.
And they had, like, the cheap foam on the outside that never really protected your ears.
No, and it was
And
distorted.
everybody around you could hear exactly what you were listening to.
And it sounded like a distorted mess.
Oh, yeah.
Which probably explains the EQs in my car. Yeah, no, and then on the other side, I'd have, like, a CD, one of those old, like, DVD player collection things that you could put all your DVDs in, but instead I had all CDs in there, and I just took it all to school.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dude, you know how people make fun of people who wear cargo shorts?
No, I used to wear cargo pants.
Okay, for the longest time... Oh, dude, cargo pants were the best.
I had these pair of pants.
Dude, let's get cargo pants.
Okay.
Let's go and buy a pair of goddamn cargo pants and own that ish.
Okay.
We would have so much space for
all 7 things
storing
that I have to
stuff.
count every day.
But I remember being in like 6th grade, maybe even as young as 4th grade, having my big cargo pants, and I had my anti-skip CD player in one, and I had like you said, that little folding book of CDs that I stuck in the other one, and I had the obnoxious headphones, but I also had like these little computer speakers, and they were surprisingly small for how young I was, and I found out that like I could fit them in the other pocket as well. So sometimes I would just go around with big ass speakers and play a bunch of music like a fucking walking jukebox.
We don't have to go on a tangent on it, but the biggest ripoff in history was those anti-skip CDs.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I guaranteed you, they still skipped. They still skipped like a motherfucker all the time.
And speaking of oversized hoodies and ish, I broke my big iPod. I had or later on in my high school career, I had one of those huge, like, 300 gigabyte iPod. I think they were just iPods.
Yeah, the big iPods, the thick ones. The bricks, yeah. I had one of those. I was able to beat somebody over the head with that.
It was beautiful. It lasted forever. But I like to wear those baggy hoodies as well. And I was climbing into my dad's car one day, and it was a Cavalier that was eventually my car, but I shut the door right on the screen. And it wasn't.
It would still work.
It wasn't just. It did work.
I was saying, I know it'll still work.
It worked. However, you couldn't. It went completely dark. So I could do some things by touch, but eventually I just like set it down, and it.
I was gonna say, all you did was have a heavier iPod Shuffle at that point.
Honestly,
that's all you had.
What I had at that point was a storage device for all the music I got over Limewire.
Oh, Limewire.
Yeah,
if you can't tell, this is a nostalgic episode.
I've installed many malware on my hard drive. I remember downloading nudie pics off of Limewire. Usually the viruses it gave them to you for free, but like I guess I found some of the ones that I actually wanted.
Discovering porn was an adventure the first time I found it out. Like actual porn, not just the images like that you stole from, say, your best friend's brother's bathroom at the time.
And sounds like a specific reference.
Yeah, it very much is. And you don't just stare at the pictures of Candice Michelle, one of the biggest divas at all time in the wrestling industry. But when I discovered actual porn, that was an exploration. But I never got it off of Limewire. I had downloaded wrong songs. Like you ever when you're a kid, like and you're on Limewire and you're like, okay, I'm downloading Simple Plan, I'm Just a Kid, but then like Kid, I'm Just a by Simple Plan pops up and you're like, close enough. Click. And then all of a sudden, your entire computer doesn't turn on for some reason, and you have to blame Dad, who was drunk, because it couldn't have been you who broke the computer again.
No, you don't know how to use a computer.
No, I'm dumb. Yeah, I was dumb. I didn't know how to use a computer. I didn't know how to kick people off the phone
No,
in the
you're
middle
not
of a
dumb.
conversation.
You've told me the stories of how you would set the VCR when you were like 3 as a kid. So I don't think you could get away with not knowing how to use a computer.
Something you would be surprised. I Mama Dice. I apologize, but you would be surprised with some of the stuff I was able to get away with, and then eventually, I'm sure she realized that I lied about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe in the moment. In the moment, I got away with it though. In the moment, like as a kid.
I feel like in the moment you thought you got away with it.
No, she should have beat me. She should have beat me more. She'd have beat me more. The amount of the only time I know we were caught a lot is when me and Wade would fake cry to hang out with each other. Me and Wade used to be able to make ourselves cry, like on command.
How old were you?
Like 5, 6.
Really?
Yeah. We could make ourselves cry, so whenever we wanted to hang out and just like we would all go to grandma's and I was like, I want to go to Wade's house. No, we got to do this and it's going to be too much of a ride. And I'm sorry I was selfish. I am. I'm sorry I was selfish. These are the days I look back and I'm like, man, I was a shithead. I'd have killed me.
That is crazy.
But we'd make ourselves cry so we could go hang out together.
That's some sociopath shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're not, and it proves we're not okay in the head now.
Can you cry on command now?
Yeah. Like usually I have to be in the right kind of like.
So you can't.
Not
if you say I gotta be in the right kind of.
It's like so on stage I've been able to make myself cry on command. But right now, probably not. I'm in too much of a good mood, and I don't want to think about depressing things right now. So I'm going to say no right now.
That's fair. I could never cry on command. For a sad person who, I don't know if I'd say I cry a decent amount.
My brain has enough power to think about bad things, and I have enough anxiety and terribleness in my brain.
A PhD in horribleness?
To really think about it. Like, my anxiety is usually really bad, so I can think about some of the things I just feared as a kid and then envision it as true, and that makes me emotional. Which that's a weird cut, but yeah.
That's a weird cut. Yes. As Dice has mentioned, today's episode is nostalgia, all things that make us nostalgic. This came about because we were talking before the podcast, and we specifically, or I think you mentioned an album that had like specific memories attached to it, or we got on the subject and I can't remember how. If you recall.
Oh, I went to this past Sunday. I went to Mama Dice's house to pick up some cards she had found for me.
Mama Dice.
And I seen the
magic cards specifically.
Magic cards. I've been doing a lot of magic sorting, getting back into it. But I went down in my basement where my room used to be. And, like, we used to have band practice in the garage and stuff, and I just got hit with, like, all this nostalgia. So on the way home, I listened to... I'll say it, and I'm not so proud, but I'll say it. I listened to Limp Bizkit on the way home. Ooh. Because, like, I saw all my posters on the wall, and it was a lot of psychopathic posters, to be clear. I didn't have Limp Bizkit posters.
You still have posters on your walls from when you were a kid? Wow.
Apparently they're still up. And, like...
My mom ripped that ish down.
My room was covered in a light purple paint because it was my dad's hangout room at first when he first moved in. Mm-hmm. And then, but I had black light paint on it, and I had black lights around the room that you could hang up, that you could turn on to hang out.
Oh, you had black light? Oh, that's cool.
Dude, I was the hippie. I was like not the hippie kid, but I was that kid. I had a knife collection hanging above the TV. Me and my dad cut a hole in my wall in the middle of like the room where it separates into the laundry room, and because we didn't have a flat screen TV, so you know what we did. We had this big ass like old 50s box TV type deal, big thick thing. So we just cut a big hole in the wall and put it right even with the hole and filled it in. So I had a TV that was just a part of my wall.
That's a Hey Arnold's room level of cool.
It was the opposite end of the house because Hey Arnold was in the attic and got the sky roof, which I would have killed for.
Dude,
I'd have killed for an attic. But the basement was really cool.
Hey Arnold set me up for such a disappointing childhood. Because nothing was as good as it was in that show. Like, every time Arnold...
Why would you move out?
Like, exactly. That was the coolest bedroom I've ever seen. Like, your grandpa's gonna die soon. Just like, you'll take over it.
All right, we ain't had to say that part, but yeah, no, just stay there.
I'm pretty sure they put out a new Hey Arnold movie recently. I didn't watch it.
I want to watch it. I remember that going around.
We can watch that.
But yeah, I checked. I was in there and I started listening. Something reminded me of Limp Bizkit. It was like one of the games I saw whenever I was walking down into my room. Like just a memory of sitting on the bed. And then I was like, oh man, I used to play Halo down there a lot. And I started listening to Blaze Your Dead Homies Clockwork Gray. And it was like legitimately getting flashbacks of playing Halo 3 with Chris and just killing people, red versus blue. It was good and good Halo.
It was
Good
funny
Halo.
because you said just killing people.
Just killing people. That was when I was actually good at video games. Like me and Chris
when we had the time to.
Me and Chris were top lone wolves or team duos and shit like that in the ranking systems and matchmaking. We were in the top 50.
Just top 50, like in the country?
In the game.
In the game?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Like we were nuts.
Just a little side note, the meaning of nostalgia, for anybody who doesn't know, is a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. Don't worry, that's going to play later into the podcast at the end with some other fun words. Mm-hmm. But are there any other albums that you like have strong associations with, maybe particularly to games?
I have a lot of albums, if I listen to in the past, I can usually go through the Psychopathic Encyclopedia from like 2000.
Encyclopedia?
From like 2000 to 2010, I could probably pick an album out of anywhere and pinpoint either a sad or happy memory associated with it.
Encyclopedia?
You're really going to focus on that one?
Psychopath.
But yeah, there's a good amount of albums that I could associate different memories with.
One specific one that comes to mind for me, I don't know if you know it. Hawk Nelson, does that one ring it?
I do know Hawk Nelson.
You know the Zeros.
Yeah, it started at Zero. We had
the
a
one
big
before
thing about
that. Letters to the President. It had their really big first hit, California. Like, let's pack up and move to California.
I don't know Hawk Nelson that well. I knew Zero.
I knew Letters to the President, and that song specifically makes me remember sitting in, like, remember those butterfly chairs that were just like, it wasn't an actual butterfly.
I know what you're.
They sat real low to the ground, and they had like a real big basket, and it was just like this soft plush thing.
Yeah.
I had one of those in my room, and I remember sitting on that next to the window in my bedroom on my Game Boy Advance, and it was the cool purple translucent one, playing Lord of the Rings Tactics game. Yes, it was a Lord of the Rings game. Boo.
No, it's cute. But I like it. It's funny.
It was a turn-based like movement placer.
It's a turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, and it was
no, I'm sorry, tactical. It's
tactical. It's like top down, and you like move units in certain places.
Yeah, it's Halo Wars. I'm trying to. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Strategy, tactical strategy. I'm trying to think of the actual name.
And it was my like introduction into strategy games, and I loved it. And every time I listen to Letters to the President, that's what I think of. I think of that game, and RuneScape.
I have one that like the as soon as you said it, the number one that popped out to me is actually associated with a sad memory from high school, and ironically, the album's called "Heartbroken and Homicidal."
Well, nostalgia says typically with a happy place, so we're gonna stick to that.
Okay, I mean it just had to do
I'm
with
kidding.
It was just girl problems at the time. But the funny part to me that I look back on now is that the album was called "Heartbroken and Homicidal."
Man, you know what?
And it was like, oh man, it came out right as this happened. That's really weird. I'm gonna listen to this whole album and study it.
You know what?
I played a lot of Halo during then too.
Yeah. You know what we don't have to be nostalgic for anymore?
Oh, I missed this transition.
I was gonna say girl troubles.
Yeah, we don't.
It's different girl troubles.
It's one girl trouble.
Yeah.
And even then, it can be resolved fast. I don't know. There's no problem that lasts more than a day usually.
This isn't a sitcom, son.
Well, for me so far, I'm still in that nice honeymoon phase, pre-married.
You guys don't have any like long-standing arguments that still pop up?
We have a way of dealing with things where we're both very hard-headed and stubborn people. So the one thing we agree on is that we try not to go to bed angry, and if we do, we resolve it the next day almost immediately. There's been nothing that really pops up anymore that goes angrily. Like there might be things we make jokes about.
Angry law.
But other than that, like there was one time I missed dishes and she keeps putting off doing her chores. So I was like, oh no, no.
See, I told you that chore chart.
No. But we have a deal with it. She still got them done in time. But it was like I was like, no. You held me tooth and nail at $5 that day. We were in an argument for $5. So if you refuse to do it, I'm holding you for 15. That's it. Nope, you do it. And that's it. Like that's the little bit of slights we'll get on each other. It's like, you remember when we were fighting and this happened? No. But that's about it.
That's good.
Yeah. We usually agree on a lot of shit, and things we disagree on, it can get angry, but at the same time we resolve it fast.
Charged. The adjective I've been using recently for in my life is a situation is charged.
Yeah.
I
won't say it's an aggressive situation. Nobody's like pouncing or yelling. We're raising our voices, but we're not yelling at each other or anything like that. Because I grew up in a family where you had to be loud to be heard, and she's not naturally loud. Speaking of nostalgia, though, we are going to circle into our tasty jams. This time we've decided to go back and check out some albums or some songs from not necessarily our childhood, but younger days, high school times. Definitely after certain historical events have happened in the world. Don't give me that look. Jayne, what one you got for us? Yours comes from the old 2009. That was over a decade ago.
That was over a decade ago. I'm trying to think what would have happened in the year 2009. I
was in 10th grade.
Then I would have been in 9th grade? Or also 10th grade?
I think 10th grade was filled with a lot of girl drama. I don't think there was a day in high school that wasn't filled with girl drama for me.
Wow. Not me. I mean, I dated my dated, quote unquote, my fair share in high school, but like, nah.
I dated my fair share, but one of them I dated was crazy. And there was a lot of trouble with that one.
But my tasty jam this week comes to us from Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon 1. I've been kicking Man on the Moon around for the past couple of weeks because he recently released Man on the Moon 3 in 2020. I believe he released Man on the Moon 2 in 2000 and I think it was 2012. I'm about to date myself again, and I don't know if it's the right date.
Yeah, but
no, that's right. It was right as I was going into college.
This one's not as drastic.
Yeah. It was right when I was going into college, so it would have been around 2012 or 2013. So I really did not expect him to follow it up. But Man on the Moon 1 is a banger from way back. That's why I started the podcast with the head on the window pane thing, because that was the album that I was listening to on the bus when I had to go to school on the cold early mornings of my youth. The song is Soundtrack to My Life, and it is literally just a day in the life of a young Scott Mescudi, a.k.a. Kid Cudi. And it was fun to watch a... You know when it was cool to sing about being sad? I guess it still is. Remember the first time you found somebody who was like, it's cool to sing about being sad? If that makes sense?
Yeah.
That's what this was.
Good Charlotte.
I was like, oh.
MCR.
This kid's depressed. I'm depressed. He's singing about his depressed life. This kind of relates to my depressed life. It was really cool to hear it, and I highly recommend listening to the whole album if you never had. I've listened to it many times through, and I like it nowadays, not just because of its nostalgic value, but because I think it's actually a really good... I'm going to call it a rap album, but as you heard from the song Soundtrack
the
to My
song's
Life,
very vibey.
He's got a sing-songy, lo-fi-ish type vibe.
Yeah, it's not other things I've heard from Kid Cudi. It was definitely different to the point where until you went, that's Kid Cudi, I went, oh, I didn't know that.
It's not a banger. It's definitely another viber.
Yeah, it was definitely. Yeah, if I was young, I would have said it. What did I say back then? That's a good song. I swear I've adopted more lingo now that I'm...
Like, nowadays I would say it's lit, or that slaps, or it's a banger.
I still don't condone lit. Oh, which one did I say that pissed Baz off? Bops. I want bops.
No, a song is a bop. I don't think something can bop. That's just my
that's
opinion.
A lie. You pay a girl the right amount of money.
What did we call really good songs back in the day? We probably would have said, yo, dude, this song is sick.
Yeah, sick. That was it. Shit's sick. So to build off of what you said, like how you heard the first time you heard somebody sing sad songs and it was cool to sing sad songs and be sad. And I was like, that reminds me of Good Charlotte. That reminds me of My Chemical Romance and things. But to the same point, I still always felt sad when I listened to him, and I think the thing that drew me into Psychopathic was that feeling of knowing that there's a lot of people who share these same kind of things. Because what they sing about a lot of times, even though it's a lot of killing, murder, drugs, or
Violence.
sex and things like that, there's a lot of like songs that talk about accepting the family and bringing it in and bringing a unity to the outcast and the people who didn't fit in anywhere. Like I didn't fit in with the emo crowds. I didn't fit in with the goths. I was an outcast of an outcast. That's the way I described it. I was the outcast to the outcast.
My school had 2 goths. We had fair share of emos. I fell into that crowd, but I think we had like 2 legitimate people I would consider goths.
Because like I wasn't so sad and I didn't want to wear eyeliner or anything like that. And that was like
I wore eyeliner.
Not that I have and I have. I
mean, I'm not for sure. I would wear eyeliner like as part of my daily thing.
There was some things I was doing for like my wrestling gig. I had eyeliner painted on, and I was an acting kid, so I wore eyeliner. I get it.
I was just emo.
But it's just my thing. I never fit in anywhere, and a lot of the songs that ICP ends up talking about, or Psychopathic in general end up talking about, because other artists do it too, is that unity that they found within the family, which brought me into it. So my nostalgic pick is one that I remember going out and getting the album for. It's the album is Independence Day by Twisted. It was me, my buddy Chris, who he's the one who showed me ICP and
Never
everything.
seen that movie.
What?
Independence Day, never seen it.
Oh.
Sorry.
No,
Keep going.
No, it's cool. Just throw me off my train of thought. That's the best part for the podcast.
You and Chris?
Me and Chris and his brother John, because we couldn't drive. We went out to the mall for the late night release of it. We were going out for, I think it was another Smash Brothers game that was coming out, or a new game that was coming out. Maybe not Smash Brothers, because I don't think it was that big of a release. But we were going out for a new game, and FYE was still open, so we popped in, and I grabbed Independence Day. Well, they grabbed it, and we blasted the thing the whole way home and played it the entire night while we just sat there and played video games. And the number one song that I could think off it that reminds me of that feeling I always get when I listen to Psychopathic music is Welcome Home from Twisted, Jamie Madrox, and Monoxide Child. It's the first track on the album, and it's a combination of get you hyped to get ready for the album song mixed with that same bring the unity and the family together and bringing the lows and lets to ride.
I was
really good.
The first thing that I heard was the production of it. Like it very much has that late 90s, early 2000s rap beat behind it and production. Very much like it reminded me early Slim Shady type shit. That's the first thing I thought of, because I didn't have a lot of rap from the day to compare it to, because I wasn't allowed to listen to it. But my cousin bumped like the Marshall Mathers LP, and so that's what I knew.
My favorite album by Twisted is still The Green Book, which is still even earlier than that album. But that one is like when they started to go into like newer sounds and things like that. You could clearly tell that they were starting to get into the new soundish thing. And I hate to say it because of the beef that's between them now with ICP and Twisted, but I will stand on my word of saying that Twisted is still like the better rappers of Psychopathic from back in the day. And the main reason I'm picking this song is because people need to hear Jamie Madrox. Dude is a lyricist, dude is talented, and he's shit on because he chooses to stay in the underground with his type of music with horrorcore. And the man's a monster when it comes to rhymes.
There's a video of Twisted looking at some of the new like up and coming rappers that he's excited about, or like they show him videos of new, more lyrical, fast rappers, and he comments on them. He had good things to say about Jid, which is probably why I knew it and brought it up. But it's cool. That's really, I don't know a lot about Twisted other than the relations that you've told me about it.
I honestly think there were a couple of times where like I know ICP gets a bad rep, but there are times where I believe that if people didn't know songs were ICP, they would like them. But I know for a fact that if I didn't go, hey, this is Psychopathic, or hey, this is Twisted, and I just started playing songs and you didn't know their voice immediately, I think people would like them a lot more. Instead of just having that veil of, oh, these guys were associated with Insane Clown Posse, you know, that group type deal.
Oh, they're a gang.
You want me to get started on this?
No.
I'm a family
that
member.
was the other time we talked about ICP when we were talking about being on a federal watch list.
Yeah, I'm on a watch list, I guess.
I'm trying to think of some other. What else makes you feel nostalgic? What if we venture out of the world of music?
Smells. Things that remind, like, for example, we went to Walmart the other day, and I believe that Walmart has a specific smell in Christmas time because as we were walking through the aisles, I started to get memories of walking through the toy aisles as a kid. Just because like certain smells of like, you know how they do in like theme fun parks and things like that, they'll pump certain scents into the air to make you crave like funnel cakes and stuff like that.
No.
You don't know that?
No.
Like there's
I don't
places.
like being crop dusted.
It's just the way it's like as if it was just like a full ventilation of that scent that I have now.
Sure.
Just imagine it's like funnel cake if you're at like a carnival, not like a makeshift
Oh,
carnival.
it's
but something
like
that.
if you're burning a candle that smells like s'mores, you're gonna want to eat a
But
s'mores.
Kennywood like don't put
okay.
Kennywood in, but like theme parks do that
No, that's
shit
going
and
in.
pump it into the air so you get that craving.
Pump it.
So it's that kind of thing. Like smell, I believe I personally believe Walmart has a smell during Christmas, but it might just be the people.
Huh.
But that's another nostalgic thing. It smells. The sight of the black light is what triggered my nostalgia. Cured my nostalgia. I will never.
I'm free.
I'll never want again.
I'll never feel anything about my past. I guess now you'll only feel things about the bad parts, though.
I mean, those have affected me my whole life.
Yeah.
Hey.
There are definitely smells that make me nostalgic. I'm just trying to think of what they are.
Never had like your grandma's house never smelled a certain way. Like nothing I've ever been to smells like my grandma's house. And not to say it smells bad. It's just like it smells like my grandma. I can't pinpoint it.
No, my grandma's house never. One thing that over Thanksgiving, I had some of like my grandma's cooking. And let me tell you, nobody makes mashed potatoes like my grandma. I don't know how she makes them so light and fluffy, and you ain't got to put gravy over them. They don't need any butter or salt. You get them on, and it's all the way back as long as I can remember. I remember sitting around the table at my grandparents' house, like eating those mashed potatoes.
That reminds me of when we did the 422. And we all talked about our food. Like, yeah, certain foods send you back there. The pot pie noodles I mentioned always remind me of that. Just sitting around at Graham's table and eating those up and then going to open Christmas presents underneath the tree.
Man, I haven't thought about my grandparents' house was quote unquote remodeled, or their downstairs was remodeled after some time. There used to be like, it was a big open layout, but there used to be walls dividing rooms, and they got rid of most of the walls and just made it two big rooms. And I remember there was a pillar right in the middle of it, and there was a vent directly above where the pillar was. So if you were looking through the vent, you could see as people walked into the kitchen. And me and my cousin got in trouble because we were, you know how you don't spit, but like you get a little bit of spittle right between your lips, and you just kind of let it.
Yeah.
We were trying to hit our other cousin as he walked back and forth.
That's fair. I mean, we did sick shit as kids. No, do you since that's gone now, do you still do the old movements? Like, so when things moved in my grandparents' house, but I was so used to like dodging a wall that's no longer there, I still take a wider step around. Like if I'm on my phone and just looking at it, my body will naturally walk wider, even though I could cut straight through because there's no wall now.
Not really.
My brain, I don't know if it's just my brain just memorizing the patterns or whatever, but like I will accommodate any missing spot still if I'm just on autopilot.
I will say it's weird. When I was last at my grandparents', there's like a coat closet, and I went to open the coat closet, and I'm so used to there was like a couple of shelves on the sides, and they would have like all of our board games on it. And it was really weird when I opened it, and there was like a little space for coats, and then it was mostly like the TV back and like their DVR system, and all of like the board games were gone, and all of the like they would have all of our snowsuits in there and stuff. And I looked in, and there was just like my grandpa's leather jacket and then our coats. And I was like, huh.
That's depressing.
And I remember this is a weird memory, but I remember there was like the vacuums that didn't use suction back in the day. It was just like the brush, and it would sweep it up into a little reservoir. My grandparents had one of those, and I remember that vividly because it was so much fun to play with it as a kid, because it would go and I was an annoying little shit, and I liked making a lot of noise.
Yeah, but I'm sure those were the best toys though, the cleaning things.
Yeah, the ones that are like, yeah, good, you can vacuum the living room, that's fine. Anyway to gamify a chore.
Yeah, that's my plan when I have a kid. All right, we're going to spin the game wheel. It's wash dishes. Here we go. We got to get Mr. Spongy.
I was going to say, I think this is the second nostalgia episode we've done, and I completely forgot about the first one. I think like episode 6.
I don't know. We talk about our past a lot, but
Yeah, I mean everybody.
If you play the podcast back from beginning to now, you can hear as our friendship has slowly deepened, learning all the shit we have about each other.
Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty much. This is just conversations. I've kind of mentioned this before, but like I very much view our podcast as like My Dinner with Andre, that movie, where it's. I'm not gonna say it's not a movie about anything, but like the movie is about just My Dinner with Andre, and it's a conversation, so to speak. And I kind of view this as us talking to each other. Some of the talking to the viewers, but it's just kind of like dropping in on what's a slice of Jayne and Dice. If your phone drops in water, cook it in rice. Anyways,
We did get some answers from last week's
yeah, that
big word call out.
Did you like that segue? That wasn't a segue, but I'm glad you knew it was a segue. I'm happy for that. We got some lovely words from all of you viewers out there. The first one comes to us from our Instagram. This is Rainbow Buttercup 13, I believe. Coagulate. And because we like to gamify everything, Dice, what do you think the definition of coagulate is?
The dried and hardened state of blood.
That is a correct usage of it. Coagulate means change to a solid or semi-solid state. So yeah.
The only reason I know that is psychopathic, because there's a song called Coagulate.
All right, our next word comes to us from Badlin or Badlin on our Facebook. Elucidate.
Elucidate. Can you use it in a sentence?
I could, but that would elucidate its meaning.
To reveal?
To give a clarifying explanation. To make lucid, especially by explanation or analysis. Our next one comes from Chia, our old editor. What's up, Chia?
What's up, Chia?
You finally joined us on a podcast. Incorrigible. This meaning surprised me. I will say that.
You are. I know this. I know that how people say it. You are incorrigible, but how that? I want to say it's a negative meaning, so somewhat unbelievable in a negative tone.
Yeah. Basically, it means not able to be corrected, improved, or reformed.
Oh,
It's a very weird definition, and it's a word that I've used a lot in my life, and I've never heard of that. Like I don't know. It surprised me.
some of the people in league are incorrigible.
Always relevant and funny. And I need to make a correction to last week's podcast where I said my favorite word. I remembered my actual favorite word to say, and like my favorite word probably of all time. It is denouement. The denouement is the final part of a play, movie, or narrative in which the strands of the plot are drawn together and matters are explained or resolved.
My favorite stage term is Chekhov's gun.
But
If only we had an actual Chekhov's gun for the first part of this podcast, that would have been a perfect wrap up.
oh damn it, we could probably edit in a gunshot sound I'll edit a gunshot sound in the beginning, and I won't cut the rest of this out to explain it. But that's all we've got this week. Down in the comments, drop us something that makes you nostalgic. Whether it's like a feeling, a scent, a smell, an object,
A visual. A visual.
the visual of an object.
It could be just driving past a certain spot on the road. Makes you think about the day your girlie got a little handsy one day. Yeah, it can happen.
That's fair, I guess. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can get and hit the bell so that you get notified of when we release all this sweet new content.
Please hit the bell. YouTube likes to bury us.
We're currently playing through Until Dawn on the page. Check out that series if you haven't. We recorded a bit more today, and we got quite a few turns. It's gonna get good in the next few weeks, folks.
Yeah, it's about to pick up really big because boy howdy, there were some things we called and some things we didn't.
Be sure to look out for a special Christmas video. It's going to be a sweet surprise for you guys. And you can find us on Twitch every single Tuesday at twitch.tv/Salty Entertainment Fun Time. You can also find Jack every single Friday
At twitch.tv/Salty Entertainment Fun Time.
Yeah, for the next few weeks, you'll also be able to find Dice playing through Kingdom Hearts 3 Monday mornings at 10.
As long as I still have some free time, I will be playing Kingdom Hearts at least every Monday, 10 to probably about 2 or 3-ish. And then I will maybe pop in here and there with a couple of streams, not promising those, but Monday at the very least. But definitely check out Friday every week. Check out Tuesday every week. We have content that comes out every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, and every Saturday for the channel as well.
VODs are up on Tuesday as well. As always, folks, my name is Jayne Cobb. I'm here with Dice. Stay salty.
Stay hydrated.
Thanks for supporting the channel. We love you much.
Bye bye.